Hello YouTube. Today we are going to be talking about the Ignite Digi Keystone cage for the Komodo. We've had the cage for about 2 years now, so we've got to use it on all sorts of shoots. We've used it on Movi, handheld, sticks, anything, you name it. I feel a little bit qualified now to look over this cage and some of the things it offers for cinematographers on production. The first thing I want to start with is the build quality. The build quality is absolutely fantastic. You can tell that they really spent a lot of time thinking about all the different things that would go on this cage. So there's tons of quarter 20s, tons of 3/8. Shoe mounts on the corners, there's shoe mounts on the bottoms as well. You can really throw anything onto this thing or this thing onto anything with this cage. So that's kind of where I want to start, is the different accessories that we can do once we enter the Ignite Digi world. So the Ignite Digi world is a great world. Right now what we've got on the cage already screwed in, ready to go, are these rod mounts right up here. They're 15 mil rod mounts, but they're extra wide, as you can see. So if we ever have a big lens on here, these top mounts work perfectly. And then on the bottom, we have kind of your standard 15 mil rod mounts. The cool thing is you can just unscrew it, put this on the top, put this on the bottom, just have this or just have this. It's very modular in that aspect, and that'll kind of be a trend throughout the whole video. Is this cage is very modular and you can do many different things with it. On top right here, we have a little sort of NATO rail clamp. I forget what this is called. This kind of gives us the ability to put a handle on it, but then it also gives us the ability to put it onto a Movi. Since we have a Movi, it's really convenient that we have that. And then for the Movi as well, you put this plate on the bottom and that locks into the Movi on the bottom. Another module that we have on this Keystone that makes a huge difference for me, I'm an AC, so I build cameras. I don't like using D-taps, and I don't like using D-tap splitters, because every V-mount plate, gold mount plate only has about 2 D-tap outputs, so I don't like using D-tap, I don't like using splitters. It just takes up so much space, so bulky, I don't like using them. Ignite Digi actually sells this little breakout plate, which we have put it on the bottom. You can put it on either of the sides if you want to, you can put it on the top, but we put it on the bottom so it's kind of just hidden. Essentially what this does is give you a bunch of 2-pin outputs, 2-pin LEMO outputs. And I love 2-pin LEMO cables. And a lot of what I use, pretty much everything I use, requires a 2-pin LEMO. So having this is so freaking awesome. I can just hide the cables underneath the camera. And when you look at the camera, you go, where's all that power coming from? It's coming from down here. You don't even see it. So when you're building your camera, all you need is a D-tap to 2-pin, and then you have 3 other 2-pin outputs that can power all sorts of accessories on your camera. So this is a must, and I would highly recommend getting one of these. So you have to never worry about if you have enough D-tap outputs. The first interesting thing about the Keystone is actually it is the size of an Alexa Mini. I don't know if it's the exact size. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard, but it's the size of the Alexa Mini. So having that extra size really helps out a lot of big productions, because the Komodo is quite a small camera. So being able to slap a cage on it that gives it the footprint of an Alexa Mini is really helpful. Now kind of what I want to dive into is sort of some of the accessories that really make this a dream rig. And I will do a full rig build video with the Komodo, because there's lots that we can do with it. You start with your top handle, which slides in nice like that, locks like that, and boom, you got your top handle. This is a Ignite Digi top handle. Really solid handle, really big. It's got a bunch of 3/8 RE locking system. It's got one on the front, one on the back for monitors. And then on the side here, we have 2 rosette mounts. So these are really helpful when you want to attach, say, a handle, extenders for your handles, and we've used that a bunch. We also have the Ignite Digi base plate. So this is kind of your more traditional base plate. It offers more rosettes on the side, but this goes ahead and it just locks into this bottom plate here. Now we usually have this bottom plate always on the camera, but I took it off just for this video. But as you can see, it just slides in really smooth there, and then you lock it and that's not going anywhere. So having this is really nice if you just want some traditional rods. It also is really good if you do have like a really big lens. It offers more height, so you can put focus motors lower down if you need more space. And then the next thing that we have that I will detail in another video is actually this little plate right here. And this is for a tier deck. So I have the tier deck Bolt 4K LT. This has a bunch of little screws on it right here, and that slaps to the camera right there. And that kind of gives your tier deck a beautiful place to live, and I'll show you why. Because Ignite Digi also makes custom cables, and these custom cables are freaking awesome. I love having these custom cables because it makes your build look better, feel better. You know you're getting a good cable, so you know it won't die, and overall it's just amazing. For example, for the tier deck, and I'll show this in another video, but for the tier deck, you can slap this on the side, the tier deck goes right here, and then we have actually a custom SDI cable just built for the Komodo that it goes right SDI right here. This perfectly reaches the tier deck, so you have no excess cable, which is freaking awesome. And then right here is a custom 2-pin to 2-pin. You got a right angle and then you got a straight. So this one will go from your output plate into the tier deck, and again, you have no excess cable. So I use these every single time we go out on a shoot because there's nothing worse than having too long of cables and having to loop them around and cable manage. This eliminates cable management, and I'm an AC myself, so that's a beautiful thing for me. It saves me time when I'm building my camera. We have a few other Ignite Digi cables. This one is actually for the DJI transmission. So we have the same sort of tier deck plate, but for the DJI. It is a bit of a bigger transmitter. Having that bracket is helpful, and having this custom cable is helpful, again, because we have no excess cable. These are two more custom Ignite Digi cables that we bought, and I just want to say that the quality on these cables is perfect. I freaking love it. Everything from the last detail is very well made. I love the braided wire, kind of makes it not plasticky, it's easier to move, it just feels more professional. The Limo connectors are very solid. And then right here, this is a 7-pin because it's for the nucleus, so the 7-pin side, what would make sense, it's wrapped in red. So you're not like, oh, which one? You don't have to look. You can kind of be like, okay, this is the 2-pin, this is the 7-pin. So that kind of just saves you a second. And I just appreciate the attention to detail that they do with these cables. So I highly recommend going out and getting some Ignite Digi cables, custom cables. It will really just make your build feel a lot more professional, a lot more clean, and you'll just be happier. You'll be a happier person, a happier cinematographer. So that's a bit of an overview for the Keystone cage. I freaking love this thing. It really takes the Komodo and makes it a big production camera. The Komodo can have its stigma of like, oh, you know, it's a RED, but it's really small. So it's just meant for handheld stuff or low budget stuff. But putting this cage on there and everything that comes with it really just unlocks it to be able to throw it into any environment when it comes to video production, when it comes to high-end advertisements, high-end music videos, high-end anything. The client will be impressed, the camera looks bigger, there's all sorts of things on it. So having this really does just unlock its potential to become a big production cinema camera. Here at Vibras, we are in love with Ignite Digi. We have a bunch of their products, not only for the Komodo, but for example, we have a bunch of their accessories for the Movi Pro, and I'll make a separate video detailing our Movi Pro rig and what Ignite Digi accessories we have on it, but I'll make another video with that. I'll make another video on building the Keystone with the Movi Pro. It really builds an environment that really intertwines and works well with each other, and that's the last thing I'll say about Ignite Digi. Once you enter this world, all you're gonna want is Ignite Digi stuff, because once you have the Komodo, you can get all these other accessories on it that will integrate perfectly with each other. And then say you go to the Movi, I'm using Movi a lot because we have a Movi, so that's my best example. But say you go to the Movi or an R2 or something, when you get Ignite Digi accessories for those gimbal devices, it works just so well with the Keystone. What we've seen is that when we go to build the Movi and we don't have Ignite Digi stuff and we have just a stock camera, it becomes a lot more difficult because we have to hide cables and make things fit weird and all this and that. When you pair Ignite Digi with Ignite Digi, it makes your life a million times easier. So that's the last thing I'll say about Ignite Digi. That's the last thing I'll kind of say about this cage and the world of Ignite Digi. I would highly recommend getting this cage for your Komodo. It just unlocks a world of possibilities, like I've already said. But thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. I think I'm gonna do a full breakdown dream Komodo rig build for the next video, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, thank you guys for following our journey. Like and subscribe to stay tuned for more informative videos like this. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, vbreast.studios, and I really appreciate every single one of you guys that follows us. We're gonna try and build this page and keep doing awesomer? That's not a word. Keep doing cooler and cooler stuff and really just inform the public of cinema. So thank you guys, peace out, have a great rest of your day.